Hi, and welcome to Programming from Scratch, a series about learning how to code, starting from simple projects and games to eventually writing your own engine. I'm gonna assume you don't have any knowledge of Scratch, and I'll quickly show you how to get set up. First, you'll go to the Scratch website, which I'll link under the video, and then you go and click on Join Scratch, which will let you set up an account. Once you've gone through those steps and arrive at the home screen, you can click on Create a Project to get started. So first, we'll need to understand how a Scratch project works. A game will start when you press the flag icon. However, when you press on it, nothing happens. That is because right now, we're not telling the game to do anything. So we're gonna have to react to the game, starting by grabbing a when flag click block. And to show us that it's working, let's make a point variable and add 1 to it when we start. But we don't want the points to go up when we start, we want to increase the points when we click. So we'll say if the mouse is down, then we increase the points by 1. Now you can see that it's not working anymore, and this is because the project will run once, check if we're clicking, and immediately stop right after. So we'll need to keep it running for as long as we want. To do so, I'll drag this forever loop, and we'll check and see what happens now. As you can see, when I click, the points do go up, but they keep going up if I hold the mouse button down. So first, let's set the points back to 0 when we start the game. We'll make another variable and call it something like click held, which we'll use to know whether we are holding down the mouse button. We'll say if we hold the mouse click button down and we haven't been holding it, then we'll set click held to true, because right now we are holding it down. Increase the points by 1 and we'll swap this out for an if else block. Since we are not holding down the mouse button, click held should be false. As you can see, when I click, the points only go up by 1, and it now shows whenever we are holding down the mouse button. However, I can still click anywhere on the screen. Let's make it so that the points only go up by 1 when we click on the sprite. All we would need to do is check if the sprite is touching the mouse pointer whenever we click. But just clicking on a sprite does not make for a very fun game. So let's add a timer to see how many times we can click before it runs out. We'll make a new variable and call it timer. Let's set it to 10 when we start. Now until the timer is 0, every second we'll reduce it by 1. And when the time runs out, we'll stop everything, which will end the game. But now the game stops very abruptly, so let's show the player that the game is over when the timer runs out. We'll need to make a new sprite to make it clear the game has ended. This should do it. Now we only want to show this when the game has ended, so let's hide it at the start. Let's make and listen for a new event, we'll call it end, and let's show it again when we receive the message. And instead of completely stopping, we'll just stop any other script and broadcast the end event. Let's check and see how this looks now. But it doesn't make sense to have the timer on our cat, so let's move that to the end sprite. We'll just have to stop everything in the cat when we receive the end message. The game is not very challenging, so let's make the cat hide randomly. That way we have to use our reflexes to try and get a higher score. First we'll make a new event and call it hide, that the cat will listen to. Then we'll need to make a costume to show that it is hiding. We'll just make a big circle on the bottom and copy it over. We'll call this one show and the other hide. So when we receive the hide message, we want to switch our costume to hide, wait a random short duration, and pop back out again by switching our costume to show. Now when should we call hide? Right after we click, for example. Now that we can hide it, we should make sure that the cat is visible when we start. However, as you can see, we can still click on it when it's hidden. We're gonna need a way to track when it's hidden to prevent this. So first, let's make a new variable and call it hidden. Make sure it's set to for this sprite only. After we hide, we are hidden, and so hidden would be true. And when we show ourselves again, hidden should be false. Now we do need to add it to check and see if we are hitting when we click. And don't forget to set hidden to false when we start the game. Now as you can see, the points only go up when I click on it and it is showing. But this alone does not make for a very fun game. So let's also make it randomly show and hide on its own. Let's make a new when start click block. This will also go on forever, just like the other one. If we are not hidden, then we'll wait a short random time and just in case it's gone hidden within that time, we'll check that again. And finally, we'll call on hide and you'll get something like this. Now the game is nearly done. We just need to duplicate the cat, although this will create a small problem. Right now, a cat will call hide, and everyone is listening for that, so everyone will hide. But we want them to hide on their own. So we'll need to make our own hide block instead, and call that. Let's delete the old copies and replace them for new ones. And that's about it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and try to experiment on your own by changing when the cats hide, for example. Until next time!